Hey, it's Ernest, and sadly, the holidays are over. Today, me and my friends will stretch, exercise, and do yoga to sweat all out and burn all the food that we ate. As we stretch, we should control and do proper breathing. In this case, this involves our respiratory system. It is divided into two parts, which is the upper, which includes the entrance of the respiratory system, which is the nose, the nasal cavity, and the throat, which we always bruise or also called as the pharynx. The voice box or the larynx, windpipe or trachea, bronchi, and the one that is protected by the pleural membrane, which is the lungs, are to be part of the lower respiratory system. Also, it is divided into two functionally. The conducting zone's main function is to filter, warm, and moisten air that is conducted to the lungs. This is composed of the interconnecting cavities and tubes in and out of the lungs that involves the nose all the way to our bronchioles. Second is the respiratory zone, where the main sites of gas exchange between the air and the blood happens, where it is consists of tubes and tissues within the lungs, where gas exchange occurs mainly in bronchioles and alveoli. Now, the pathway of air starts in the nose, to pharynx, to larynx, to trachea, to primary bronchi, to secondary bronchi, to tertiary bronchi, to bronchioles, to terminal bronchioles, to respiratory bronchioles, to alveolar duct, to alveoli. These are the components of a respi. So, make sure to breathe properly while working out because these organs work together all at once. What's up there, Audie?
Hi everyone, I'm Odisa. Today we're going to talk about the steps in respiration. Let's discuss the two types of respiration, the external respiration or the pulmonary gas exchange and internal respiration or the systemic gas exchange. The first step of respiration is ventilation, the movement of air into and out of the lungs, and an essential process for oxygenation and respiration processes to occur. Next, external respiration, the oxygen enters the blood in the lungs and the carbon dioxide exits the blood in the lungs. Third step, gas transport, which is important for gases to be transported within the blood in order for its nutrients to be used and also for its wastes to be expelled. And lastly, internal respiration. Gas exchange with the tissues involves the exit of the oxygen from blood to move into the tissues, while the carbon dioxide exits the tissues to enter the blood.
Hello, I'm Kyra. I'm going to tell you how exercise affects our respiratory system. When muscles contract during exercise, they consume large amounts of oxygen ion and produce large amounts of carbon dioxide ion. When exercise is more strenuous, the frequency of breathing also increases. The abrupt increase in breathing at the start of an exercise is due to neural changes that send excitatory impulses to the dorsal respiratory group of the medullary respiratory center in the medulla. The more gradual increase in breathing during moderate exercise is due to chemical and physical changes in the bloodstream. At the end of an exercise session, an abrupt decrease in breathing is followed by a more gradual decline to the resting level. The initial decrease is due mainly to changes in neural factors when movement stops or slows. The more gradual phase reflects the slower return of blood chemistry levels and temperature to the resting state.
Hi, I'm Grace and I'll be talking about the development of the respiratory system. While listening, let's do the diaphragmatic breathing. This is a great exercise for the lungs. So relax your shoulders and sit back or lie down. Place one hand on your belly and one on your chest. Inhale through your nose for 2 seconds. Your stomach should move more than your chest does. Breathe out for 2 seconds through pursed lips while pressing on your abdomen and repeat. So the development of our respiratory system starts at about 4 weeks of development. It begins as an outgrowth called the respiratory diverticulum or lung bud of the foregut just inferior to the pharynx. The epithelial lining of the larynx develops from the endoderm. The cartilages and muscles originate from the 4th and 6th pharyngeal arcs, swellings on the surface of the embryo. By 24 weeks, 17 orders of branches have formed and respiratory bronchioles have developed. During weeks 6 to 16, all major elements of the lungs have formed, except for those involved in gaseous exchange. Since breathing is not possible at this stage, fetuses during this time cannot survive. During weeks 16 to 26, lung tissue becomes highly vascular and elements involved in gaseous exchange develop. From 26 weeks to birth, many more primitive alveoli develop. They consist of type 1 alveolar cells and type 2 surfactant-producing cells. Infants born before 26 to 28 weeks are at high risk of respiratory distress syndrome, or RDS, in which the alveoli collapse during exhalation and must be reinflated during inhalation.
Hi, I'm Zoe, and now let's talk about the effects of aging on the respiratory system. Okay, so we all know that our organs function less as we age. Changes in the respiratory system include a decrease in lung capacity, a drop of blood level of oxygen gas, a decline in alveolar macrophage activity, and a diminution in ciliary action of the lining of the respiratory tract. In the experiment that we did, the lungs and the diaphragm are represented by the rubber because the system is elastic. As we age, the system does not flex or bend much anymore, resulting in less overall air incoming, like how an old balloon doesn't stretch. Due to this, older people become more prone to pulmonary diseases, just like the COVID-19. Now, how can we reduce the effects of aging? Tip number 1 is don't smoke, and tip number 2, get up, move, and do physical exercise like jogging to improve lung function. Lying in bed or sitting for long periods allows much mucus to collect in the lungs. And that's it for our video presentation. We hope you learned a thing or two about the respiratory system. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!